Let's start with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's do some Radha Jha. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha. We are reading Bhagwat Geeta as it is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We are in chapter 18, text 68. Okay, I think it was okay. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me. Let's read the purport. Generally, it is advised that Bhagavad Gita be discussed amongst the devotees only, for those who are not devotees will understand neither Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is and Bhagavad Gita as it is should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders. Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is a subject matter for the devotees only and not for philosophical speculators. Anyone, however, who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. As a result of such pure devotion, he is sure to go back home, back to Godhead. Yes. Let's move to text 69. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there be one more dear. Okay. He's referring to the devotee. Move to text 70. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. Yes. Let's move to text 71. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. Let's read the purport. In the 67th verse of this chapter, the Lord explicitly forbade the Gita's being spoken to those who are envious of the Lord. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is for the devotees only. But it so happens that sometimes a devotee of the Lord will hold open class. And in that class, not all the students are expected to be devotees. Why do such persons hold open class? It is explained here that although not everyone is a devotee, still there are many men who are not envious of Krishna. They have faith in him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If such persons hear from a bona fide devotee about the Lord, the result is that they become at once free from all sinful reactions and after that attain to the planetary system where all righteous persons are situated. Therefore, simply by hearing Bhagavad Gita, even a person who does not try to be a pure devotee attains the result of righteous activities. Thus, a pure devotee of the Lord gives everyone a chance to become free from all sinful reactions and to become a devotee of the Lord. Generally, those who are free from the sinful reactions, those who are righteous, very easily take to Krishna consciousness. The word Punya Karmanam is very significant here. This refers to the performance of great sacrifices like the Ashwamedh Yagna mentioned in the Vedic literature. Those who are righteous in performing devotional service but who are not pure can attain the planetary system of the pole star or Dhruv Lok, where Dhruv Maharaj is presiding. He is a great devotee of the Lord and he has a special planet which is called the pole star. Yes. Text 72. O son of Pratha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are you ignorance and are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? Yes. So generally, we don't read Bhagavad. That's why even I ask people, do you want to listen to Bhagavad Gita or no? Because there are people who are, who don't believe in Krishna or who believe in some other, and there has to be some level of acceptance when you get into something. So we don't want to get into a debate or an argument or a not an argument, a debate or a mental speculation conversation where you have to convince someone or you have to get yourself, you have to become right and the other person has to, bow. Because even if that happens, the other person's belief matters. So if he still does not believe or he does not agree, although he is defended or he is defeated by you in conversation, still it's not worth it because you need to be in that state of mind where you are receptive, right? Now Bhagwan is asking Arjun that are his all ignorance and illusions gone? Let's read the purport. The Lord was acting as the spiritual master of Arjun. Therefore, it was his duty to inquire from Arjun whether he understood the whole Bhagavad Gita in its proper perspective. If not, the Lord was ready to re explain any point or the whole Bhagavad Gita if so required. Look at the amount of patience a spiritual master can have, and so much of tolerance and so much of faith and trust in its devotee or in its students. Actually, anyone who hears Bhagavad Gita from a bona fide spiritual master like Krishna or his representative will find that all his ignorance is dispelled. Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary book written by a poet or fiction writer. It is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Any person fortunate enough to hear these teachings from Krishna or from his bona fide spiritual representative is sure to become a liberated person and get out of the darkness of ignorance. Let's move to text 73. Arjun said, My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt and I am prepared to act according to your instructions. Let's read the purport. The constitutional position of a living entity represented by Arjun is that he has to act according to the order of the Supreme Lord. He is meant for self-discipline. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that actual position of the living entity is that of eternal servant to the Supreme Lord. Forgetting this principle, the living entity becomes conditioned by material nature. But in serving the Supreme Lord, he becomes the liberated servant of God. The living entity's constitutional position is to be servitor. He has to serve either the illusory Maya or the Supreme Lord. If he serves the Supreme Lord, he is in his normal condition. But if he prefers to serve illusory external energy, then certainly he will be in bondage. Right. We are trying to say that we have taken birth, or we have this life. It's not for something to just relax and enjoy and do sense gratifications and just keep living the way it is. It is to serve. Now, you have to get into a serving mode. Either you serve for Krishna or you serve for some Maya. Either or, you are a living entity who is supposed to serve and not just keep relaxing. Correct? You have to be in action all the time. And then you also are, by God's grace, you also have a choice whom you want to serve. Like in other planets, other places, people like living entities don't have choice to serve or choice. They have been given the task and they have to do it. They don't have the mind of their own that, okay, I have a choice, I can dominate my mind and do something. No, they keep doing. Just like the plants, they keep growing and they take the sun and, they keep making food. They don't have a choice, they don't think, they don't have that ability. But we are fortunate that we have this ability, and so because we have this ability, we can make a better choice for ourselves. Yes. In last, when bondage tha na? Huh. In illusion, the living entity is serving in this material world. He is bound by his lust and desires, yet he thinks of himself as the master of the world. This is called illusion. When a person is liberated, his illusion is over, and he voluntarily surrenders unto the Supreme to act according to his desires. The last illusion, the last snare of Maya to trap the living entity is the proposition that he is God. You start considering yourself God because you start achieving things. Like मेरे इशारों पे दुनिया चलती है. You have seen, you must have heard these dialogues and all. So ऐसा तो नहीं है. That is like the last illusion. The day you think this way is the day when you will start falling. The living entity thinks that he is no longer a conditioned soul but God. He is so unintelligent that he does not think that if he were God, then how could he be in doubt? That he does not consider. So, that is the last snare of illusion. Actually, to become free from the illusory energy is to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and agree to act according to his order. The word moha is very important in this verse. Moha refers to that which is opposed to knowledge. Actually, real knowledge is the understanding that every living being is eternally a servitor of the Lord. But instead of thinking oneself in that position, the living entity thinks that he is not a servant and that he is a master of this material world, for he wants to load it over the material nature. Yes, that's true. That that is his illusion. This illusion can be overcome by the mercy of Lord or by the mercy of a pure devotee. When that illusion is over, one agrees to act in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is acting according to Krishna's order. So when we start thinking that we are acting as per his order, we are suddenly free. You will have a sense of um, independence, freedom from, and a sense of calm. You know, a conditioned soul illusioned by the external energy of matter does not know that the Supreme Lord is the Master who is full of knowledge and who is the proprietor of everything. Whatever he desires, he can bestow upon his devotees. He is the friend of everyone and he is especially inclined to his devotee. He is the controller of this material nature and of all living entities. He is also the controller of inexhaustible time, and he is full of all opulences and all potencies. The Supreme Personality of Godhead can even give himself to the devotee. One who does not know him is under the spell of illusion. He does not become a devotee but a servitor of Maya. Arjun, however, after hearing Bhagwat Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, became free from all illusion. He could understand that Krishna was not only his friend but Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he understood Krishna factually. So, to study Bhagavad Gita is to understand Krishna factually. When a person is in full knowledge, he naturally surrenders to Krishna. Yes. Surrendering process is also difficult because there is a lot of uh, unknowing, the unknown. So when you are confident that yes, this is, and you confirm that this is the truth, then it's easy for you to surrender and start acting as per his orders every day, right? So you have you ever come across a thing when you are trying to do something and you have been getting lot of hindrances to achieve the thing, to achieve that action? you know Sometimes there are these examples when we are trying to go somewhere, but there are so many hindrances to even reach there that we just cancel the plan. So this is, and then we lament about it. Arey yaar, nahi ho raha hai, ye ho raha hai, wo ho raha hai. So maybe this is not what God wants you to do. Maybe there's another way to it. Yes. So we have to do it in full faith. Okay, ये नहीं हो रहा है तो क्या करना चाहिए? So see, immediately the lamentation is gone. I'm not regretting or I'm not complaining. I'm suddenly thinking, then what else it must be that he wants me to do? Maybe this is not happening. So now I have become objective. And suddenly this state of mind has saved me a lot of time, mental distress, everything. When Arjun understood that it was Krishna's plan to reduce the unnecessary increase of population, he agreed to fight according to Krishna's desire. He again took up his weapons, his arrows and bow to fight under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes. Text 74. Sanjay Uvacha. Now, Sanjay, who's seeing all this, remember in the first chapter and second chapter, probably, he's watching this conversation and hearing this conversation between Krishna and Arjun. Sanjay said, thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjun, and so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. Yes, now Sanjay has come to know Sanjay has also come to know what is going to happen, right? So he's like completely, let's read the purport. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, the Shastra inquired from his secretary Sanjay, what happened on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? The entire study was related to the heart of Sanjay by the grace of his spiritual master Vyas. He thus explained the theme of the battlefield. The conversation was wonderful because such an important conversation between two great souls had never taken place before and would not take place again. It was wonderful because the Supreme Personality of Godhead was speaking about himself and his energies to the living entity Arjun, a great devotee of the Lord. If we follow in the footsteps of Arjun to understand Krishna, then our life will be happy and successful. Sanjay realized this, and as he began to understand it, he related the conversation to Dhritarashtra. Now it is concluded that wherever there is Krishna and Arjun, there is victory. Wow, this is such a strong message. I'll read it again. Wherever there is Krishna and Arjun, there is victory. Yes. Let's move to text 75. By the mercy of Vyas, I have heard this most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna. who was speaking personally to Arjun. This is still Sanjay talking. Let's read the purport. Vyas was the spiritual master of Sanjay, and Sanjay admits that it was by Vyas's mercy that he could understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This means that one has to understand Krishna not directly but through the medium of the spiritual master. The spiritual master is the transparent medium, although it is true that the experience is still direct. This is the mystery of the disciplic succession. When the spiritual master is bona fide, then one can hear Bhagavad Gita directly as Arjun heard it. There are many mystics and yogis all over the world, but Krishna is the master of all yoga systems. Krishna's instruction is explicitly stated in Bhagavad Gita: surrender unto Krishna. One who does so is the topmost yogi. This is confirmed in the last verse of the sixth chapter. Yoginam api sarvesham. Narad is the direct disciple of Krishna and the spiritual master of Vyas. So Sanjay's spiritual master was Vyas, and Vyas' spiritual master was Narad, and Narad's spiritual master was Krishna himself. Right? Therefore, Vyas is as bona fide as Arjun because he comes in the disciplic succession, and Sanjay is the direct disciple of Vyas. Therefore, by the grace of Vyas, Sanjay's senses were purified and he could see and hear Krishna directly. One who directly hears Krishna can understand this confidential knowledge. If one does not come to the disciplic succession, he cannot hear Krishna. Therefore, his knowledge is always imperfect, at least as far as the understanding of Bhagavad Gita is concerned. In Bhagavad Gita, all the yoga systems, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga are explained. Krishna is the master of all such mysticism. It is to be understood, however, that as Arjun was fortunate enough to understand Krishna directly, so by the grace of Vyas, Sanjay was also able to hear Krishna directly. Yes? Actually, there is no difference between hearing directly from Krishna and hearing directly from Krishna via a bona fide spiritual master like Vyas. The spiritual master is the representative of Vyasadeva also. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, on the birthday of the spiritual master, the disciples conduct the ceremony called Vyas Puja. Yes. Yes. We are reaching the end. Let's finish it today. Text 76. O King, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjun, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. Let's read the purport. The understanding of Bhagavad Gita is so transcendental that anyone who becomes conversant with the topics of Arjun and Krishna becomes righteous and he cannot forget such talks. This is the transcendental position of spiritual life. In other words, one who hears the Gita from the right source, directly from Krishna, attains full consciousness. The result of Krishna consciousness is that one becomes increasingly enlightened and he enjoys life with a thrill. Yes, not only for some time, but at every moment. Yes. So now when you do this, you will find the answer to your questions that what is the purpose of my life. From that question, you will come to a question, what am I going to do today? You know, you're going to shift that. What is the purpose of my life to what I'm going to do today? Let's move to text 77. O King, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again. Let's read the purport. It appears that Sanjay also, by the grace of Vyas, could see the universal form Krishna exhibited to Arjun. It is of course said that Lord Krishna had never exhibited such a form before. It was exhibited to Arjun only. Yet, some great devotees could also see the universal form of Krishna when it was shown to Arjun, and Vyas was one of them. He is one of the great devotees of the Lord, and he is considered to be a powerful incarnation of Krishna. Vyas disclosed this to his disciple Sanjay, who remembered that wonderful form of Krishna exhibited to Arjun and enjoyed it repeatedly. Yes. Let's move to text 78, which is the last text of our Gita. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjun, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. Yes. This is whose opinion? This is Sanjay's opinion, I think. Let's read the purport. The Bhagwat Gita began with an inquiry of Dhritarashtra's. Okay. He was hopeful of the victory of his sons, assisted by great warriors like Bhishma, Drona, and Karna. He was hopeful that the victory would be on his side. But after describing the scene on the battlefield, Sanjay told the king, "You are thinking of victory, but my opinion is that where Krishna and Arjun are present, there will be all good fortune." He directly confirmed that Dhritarashtra could not expect victory for his side. Victory was certain for the side of Arjun because Krishna was there. Krishna's acceptance of the post of charioteer for Arjun was an exhibition of another opulence. Krishna is full of all opulences, and renunciation is one of them. Now you see what they mean by opulences. They don't just mean opulences in terms of good house, money, everything. Opulences also mean the wealth of your control on mind. The control on mind, the way you can feel the power basically, the power to feel free, to feel peace, to feel calm. That is also a kind of opulence. There are many instances of such renunciation, for Krishna is also the master of renunciation. The fight was actually between Duryodhan and Yudhishthir. Arjun was fighting on behalf of his elder brother Yudhishthir. Because Krishna and Arjun were on the side of Yudhishthir's victory was certain. The battle was to decide who would rule the world, and Sanjay predicted that the power would be transferred to Yudhishthir. It is also predicted here that Yudhishthir, after gaining victory in this battle, would flourish more and more because not only was he righteous and pious, but he was also strict moralist. He never spoke a lie during his life. There are many less intelligent persons who take Bhagavad Gita to be a discussion of topics between two friends on battlefield. But such a book cannot be scripture. Some may protest that Krishna incited Arjun to fight, which is immoral. But the reality of the situation is clearly stated. Bhagavad Gita is the supreme instruction in morality. The supreme instruction of morality is stated in the 9th chapter, in the 34th verse. Man mana bhav, sorry, Man mana bhava mad bhakta. One must become a devotee of Krishna, and the essence of all religion is to surrender unto Krishna. The instructions of Bhagavad Gita, the instructions of Bhagavad Gita constitute the supreme process of religion and of morality. All other processes may be purified and may lead to this process, but the last instruction of the Gita is the last word in all morality and religion. Surrender unto Krishna. This is the verdict of the 18th chapter. Yes. From Bhagavad Gita, we can understand that to realize oneself by philosophical speculation and by meditation is one process, but to fully surrender unto Krishna is the highest perfection. This is the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. The path of regulatory principles according to the orders of social life and according to the different courses of religion may be a confidential path of knowledge. But although the rituals of religion are confidential, meditation and cultivation of knowledge are still more confidential. And surrender unto Krishna in devotional service, in full Krishna consciousness, is the most confidential instruction. That is the essence of the 18th chapter. Another feature of Bhagavad Gita is that the actual truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. The absolute truth is realized in three features: impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Perfect knowledge of the absolute truth means perfect knowledge of Krishna. If one understands Krishna, then all the departments of knowledge are part and parcel of that understanding. Krishna is transcendental, for he is always situated in his eternal internal potency. The living entities are manifested of his energy and are divided into two classes: eternally conditioned and eternally liberated. Such living entities are innumerable and they are considered fundamental parts of Krishna. Material energy is manifested into 24 divisions. The creation is effected by eternal time and it is created and dissolved by external energy. This manifestation of the cosmic world repeatedly becomes visible and invisible. Yes. In Bhagavad Gita, 5 principal subject matters have been discussed. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is one. Second, material nature. The third is the living entities. Fourth is eternal time. And fifth is all kinds of activities. All is dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. All conceptions of the Absolute Truth, impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and any other transcendental conception exist within the category of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although superficially the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the living entity, material nature, and time appear to be different, nothing is different from Supreme. But the Supreme is always different from everything. Lord Chaitanya's philosophy is that of inconceivable oneness and difference. This system of philosophy constitutes perfect knowledge of the absolute truth. The living entity in this original position is pure spirit. He is just like an atomic particle of the Supreme Spirit. Thus, Lord Krishna may be compared to the sun and the living entities to sunshine. Because the living entities are the marginal energy of Krishna, they have a tendency to be in contact either with the material energy or with the spiritual energy. In other words, the living entity is situated between the two energies of Lord, and because he belongs to the superior energy of the Lord, he has a he has a particle of independence. Yes. By proper use of that independence, he becomes under the direct order of Krishna. Thus he attains his normal condition in the pleasure-giving potency. Thus end the Bhagwat Gita purports to the 18th chapter of Srimad Bhagwat Gita in the matter of its conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. Yes, we have come to an end of Bhagwat Gita, and from tomorrow we will read Q&A. Yes, let's end with Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.